Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays Kerbal Space Program, where right away, and this is the downside to having a backlog, but last episode went well. What we need to do is go here, see the ship, and remove these winglets. Thank you for all the many tips that I got way too, early in advance to be guilt-free about this, but yeah, don't put winglets near the top of your ship. Keep them all at the bottom, because these ones are causing you to flip over. This is a silly decision on my part, and apologies that you had to suffer through that longer than necessary. But anyway, we should really just make this, like, moon lander at this point, because this is a decent design that works okay, or has worked okay so far. Were we rocking 4 before? I think maybe we were. Can't recall. Anyway, last episode we landed on the moon. We got some science back. That was the other big thing in the last one. First off, we lived, but also all of our science made it off at only electrical cost. So we're gonna leave right now. We're gonna see if there's some better contracts, because we do still have our Twitch engines equipped. We'd like to get that done as quickly as possible. Test the Poodle liquid fuel engine landed at Kerbin. Test the twin bore liquid fuel engine on a sub-orbital trajectory, blah, blah, blah. Plant flag on the moon. Dude, this seems extremely easy. We're going up here anyway. Can we plant flags with our existing setup? Yes. Kerbals can perform EVAs, and they can place flags. We also got a bunch of science, but I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Do we need to carry anything to place a flag? I'm assuming that would be in utility, or miscellaneous, rather. Is there miscellaneous? No, I mean, that's utility, I suppose. We should get the science that allows us to get a ladder. I feel like with science, we should really just, progress down the tree, basically. And not really, I'm not going to say not worry about what we're working towards, but just accept that with everything that we get, there's positives associated with it. So a hitchhiker storage container. How do we store 4 Kerbals? Oh, it's a crew capacity module that's probably smaller than our previous fuselage. So this could be a Jebediah one. This one also gets us closer to rovers, so I think we'll take space exploration. And we still have some science remaining here, so leave facility. So what do? Well, I think we now try to put a, and by the way, I recognize this heat shield is not cut out for my suboptimal re-entries, but we'll, figure that out at a later time, I suppose. Basically, I think I just need to make my periapsis better on re-entry. It should be 30,000, not directly crashing into the planet, and then we'll slow down in the air and be better. So it's hitchhiker storage container. That's still enormous, dude. It's actually like substantially larger than the crew cabin size. Or this thing right here. We could try to land with this and bring Jeb back. It is a little unwieldy, but maybe we're better off now that we're just burning prograde. And we also do need to put some mobility enhancers on this bad boy. Like, I think we should actually just basically go straight down. I know that these are on top of the batteries at this point, but maybe that doesn't matter. I don't really want to remove any batteries. I don't know if they have to be close enough to climb or, what's going on here, but we're going to experiment. Last episode is a positive, and I want to build upon this positive. This is probably far too many ladders, and I recognize we could just EVA up to them. But I'd rather not. I'd rather maintain the lowest possible risk of EVAing myself into outer space. I think that strikes me as fairly reasonable, all things considered. Okay, you know what? If this dude can't jetpack up to the top of this little baby fuel tank, he's got a problem. So we're going to save it up. And I'm just going to go over to Google here. KSP, how to place flag. How to place flags. Right-click your Kerbal and press plant on the flag. Sometimes it doesn't show, and then you need to walk around a bit and press it again. Every flag has a name and a plaque, the text of which can be chosen upon planting. Wait, you need a deployable flag? No, it doesn't seem like it. Okay, sweet, let's try it. So this is like half baby steps so that hopefully I can have a successful mission here, and half improvements. And you know, we're still working on the... Wait, did we not take... We didn't take the contract. 1 second. Revert flight, revert to vehicle assembly. Minor stuff here. Give me a moment. We go to mission control. Plant flag on the moon. This doesn't give us any science, but the idea is that we'll get science en route anyway. And then vehicle assembly. Save. Launch. And this is going to be our first EVA. We can do an EVA crew report and hopefully get some newfound stuff. And we should also be able... Newfound science, I mean to say. We should also be able to execute a gravity turn now. I'm still a little bit skeptical. But to be fair, I didn't realize how badly I was being screwed by the winglets that were, like, midway up. And it's not because, like... I mean, half of it is because I don't understand everything to do with physics. The other half is I wasn't ignoring people. I just had, like, a 2-day backlog. So when I asked people in, like, 2 episodes ago, I was like, hey, tweet me with what my big problem is. You tweeted me and I read the tweets and went, oh no, I still have, like, 3 episodes before I remove those winglets. But dude, straight up, this is... I never would have put 2 and 2 together by myself that that's the easiest fix on planet Earth. It really is... like 100 times easier to gravity turn without those winglets. Although I'm still flipping. That one, I'm not even... If I was a lesser man, I'd be like, well, thanks a lot. But that would also be short-sighted. That was clearly working better. We may have made some mistakes in the process. And probably like a little bit of impatience is going to burn us, but... This is so much easier to just pivot into this general direction over here. Okay, so just like... Oh, maybe not, actually. Maybe, but again, I'm probably going a little bit too hard here. It's also the fact that this rocket is designed like... It's so top-heavy. But anyway. I recognize that, I don't blame... the good suggestions for this. I blame yours truly, aka myself. Okay, so just hold it. It doesn't have to be a 45-degree angle. It really was controlling better for this section right here. So let's just keep ourselves... Even this angle is better than we've been working with previously. So we are also... you know... It's still, like, wicked unwieldy. We might still go straight up for now, just for convenience's sake. Even though it's not optimal. Just keep these up here for now. We still have the antenna, right? Yes, we do. Okay. Yeah, I mean, bummer. But, try to add, like, a 5-degree turn into this bad boy and see how that works. Something, it's a 10-degree turn, I guess, right there. Just see what we can do. Again, I blame myself fully for the rocket design here. But again, last episode was good. This episode, we're going to try to build on what happened on the last episode. And what I mean by that... Still got problems, huh? What I mean by that predominantly is a successful moon landing. I'm not going to say that we're going to rescue Jeb on this one, but at least try to EVA. So I've been... This rocket has gravity turn problems. That is something for next episode. For now, just go straight up. And we can introduce a turn after the first segment or something like that, because the gravity turn is just... making me feel like I have a 3rd grade education right now. I never was much for paper planes. I never won a paper plane contest. My engineering skills in general are actually very, very bad. In the 6th grade, we had a project to build, like, essentially a matchbox car. You build a car out of, like, you know, pieces of wood and, like, pill bottles and stuff like that. It's got, like, an elastic sort of rig set up to give it the forward acceleration it needs. My friend and I had tested ours, and it worked beautifully. It was a wonderful piece of machinery. We were sure we were going to come in the top 3. Get ready to launch it. Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it. We can still do this. We get ready to launch it. We launch it. It goes backwards. Last place. I don't know what happened to this day. Can you just go on the prograde marker? That's fine by me, dude. Our orbit is going to be all sorts of jacked up, but this is absolutely A-okay in my book. Get that apoapsis, you know, 80, 90. Let's go with 90 because we're already there, basically. Why are you all of a sudden flipping like crazy? I don't understand. All this just goes to show you that I'm working from behind here. Now, the great equalizer is that I've got so many wonderful engineers. Armchair, desk chair, chairman of the board, probably everything in between. It's because you need some throttle to be pointing in the right direction here, probably. It's my assumption. Anyway. Just keep yourself aligned with that prograde marker. We know in T-minus 30 seconds, we're going to want to burn. We can burn on the horizon. We can burn on the prograde marker. Orbit has been a little bit more of a problem lately. But still not insurmountable. Just wait like 2 seconds here. We should be good. T-minus 35, 34, 33, 32... 31, and burn. Stay on the prograde marker. Stretching out pretty nicely there. So we probably got maybe 5 seconds of fuel remaining in these tanks, and then we're going to kick those to the curb. And we can actually afford to probably turn on stability assist and go for a more aggressive horizon-oriented orbit now. I know I say this every episode, but I think it's worth repeating now. Like track 4 from the White Stripes album that I've forgotten the name of. White Blood Cells, I think that's it. Stage 1, basically just getting us into orbit. If it can do the maneuver that takes us to the moon, even better. But traditionally, we do have to use almost all of our remaining fuel for stage 2 to get into the orbit. I'm kind of stalling on stage 2. Like, I want to refactor the second stage of our rocket, but I also want to finish this contract because we get money for it, and some science, I assume. So I'm kind of arbitrarily restricting myself and building something very suboptimal, but it is what it is. You know, I'm aware of it. Alright, so it's not the greatest orbit of all time. But it is pointed out in this direction, so let's get a maneuver here. Pull out the prograde marker. Grab this. Moon encounter 1 day, not good enough, so stretch out the prograde marker a little bit more. The moon encounter, 1 day. Nah, you see, what I'm saying to you is that that's not good enough. That's too long to get to the moon. Stretch out the prograde marker. Okay, here we go. This looks more like it. The moon encounter, 3 hours. I think we'd rather, can we like slow our roll on this moon encounter? What do I mean by that? What I mean is I want my periapsis to be closer to the moon. So that we have to burn less of our second stage fuel in order to like get put into an orbit around it. Maybe this is ignorance on my part, but we'll see. First off, by the way, while we're waiting up here, I kind of feel like, you know, crew report. We've already done this, that's fine. Have we already taken temperature from here? Yes. Have we already taken pressure from here? Yes. We didn't bring... Oh no, there's our other science module. Have we already observed our materials bay here? Yes and no. It gets 0 for transmission, so we shouldn't even worry about that. You get 0 for transmission, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama in stable orbit, got every man in here dissing. Your rocket sub-optimum. NL, you are so dumb. It's a freaking video, baby, trying to have me some fun. Isn't R. Kelly part of like a sex cult now? Anyway, this is... it's another story for another day, I suppose. I'm only seeing the headlines on that one. But honestly, if it turns out that Pee Drinkers Anonymous is a sex club, I'm gonna tear up my membership. Okay, point this way. And then stop. And then stop. And then you're gonna point this way. And you're gonna stop. You know as well as I do, we do not have 29 seconds worth of fuel left in this bad boy. So we need to burn until we get to 15 seconds remaining. Or we need to speed up time until we get to 15 seconds remaining, and then we burn. By the way, probably many people asking, we will go back to Minmus. The moon is kind of more my speed right now. And I do still want to rescue Jeb. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of like leveling my hopes and dreams, or resting my hopes and dreams, on the idea that maybe we'll just accidentally land next to Jeb. It worked for Minmus. But I know that that's unlikely to happen, so we will have to learn how to incline our orbit at those ascending, those ascending and descending nodes. But we'll, cross that bridge when we come to it, I suppose. Out of fuel. Expect, I was gonna say, a long burn here, but it shouldn't be that bad. 1 minute and 6 seconds, not really that long in the whole scheme of things. Our second stage should have a much more powerful engine. I really actually think that we're using a Terrier here, right? This should be a swivel. I don't see any reason, I mean, the Terrier is fuel efficient, but I don't see a good reason not to use a swivel here, or a Reliant for that matter. But we also want to dump these Twitch engines that probably have a purpose, but let's be honest, I'm not using it properly. It's the easiest way to explain that. So the idea is that we would have enough fuel to get ourselves into orbit, and then we could test our engines in orbit around the moon. But my design has kind of made that not plausible for the present moment with my level of piloting skills, so again, take it a little bit on the easier side right now. 2, 1, stop. Good. That was an okay maneuver. We can now afford to warp to the moon encounter. And by the way, every time we do this, those, patterns get cemented into my brain. I now feel relatively confident in landing on the moon. You just burn retrograde and hope that you picked a place that isn't actually, rocky as hell. I'm gonna add a maneuver to try to see if I can get into orbit more efficiently. And I mean, that seems like a short maneuver to me. And this is the moon. And I don't see why it doesn't even matter how hard we try. I mean, it is in orbit. Why is the moon looking so weird, though? It's a 24-second burn in 1 hour and 24 minutes. This should put us in orbit around the moon, and then we can burn at periapsis at retrograde to decay our orbit so we can land. We might end up using too much lander fuel, but dude, while we're here, let's see if we can do some science, right? No? High over Kerbin? Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Nothing. Okay, temperature is nothing. What about pressure? Nothing. And what about materials bay? Ooh, there you go. So we're gonna transmit this. I don't think we can yet. Give me a second. Extend antenna. Transmit data. Renders it inoperable. That's fine by me. This is why you bring a scientist, I suppose, which we should probably do next time. So we've at least gotten 13 science out of this mission. It's not a ton, but it's something. Close this. Sweet. Okay. So, let's get on this maneuver node. This happens in every series with any element of, like, a process. You know, like a supply chain or something. God, that elevator is hideous. We look like Hellraiser. Oh, what about now, though? Are we actually, like, high over the moon? Yeah, but I don't want it to be high over the moon. I want it to be, like, from the moon. Recovery is 11 science. Transmission is 0. Okay, recycle. Temperature. Nah, only for recovery. Okay. That's what I always say, you know, when I used to work at NASA, all the astronauts, they're all science idiots, you know, they're eggheads. They never worked a day in their life. They're always like, hey, I'm on the moon right now and the temperature's cold. I go, you know what? Tell me when you're back here or it's not worth anything at all. So we're gonna burn for 24 seconds. This is potentially, I mean, there's a twofold potential impact here. One potential impact is, and either of these could happen, or both for that matter. One potential impact is we have to use some of our lander fuel to decay our orbit, and as a result, we cannot get off of the moon anymore. In which case, I would cut my losses, accept that we got some extra science for this mission and move on. The other thing that could happen is we could finally finish our Twitch contract. And I don't think we need to get our astronaut back to finish that Twitch contract. I hope, at least. But ideally, we will finish the contract and have enough fuel to, like, be fine. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, like I always say. So at 12 seconds, we're going to burn. It's a very, very short burn. 24 seconds, not a long time. We burned for over a minute, and we still have about a third of our fuel remaining. And the whole point of this remaining fuel is to decay our orbit to the point where we are naturally being pulled into the surface of the moon, so all we have to do with our lander is burn retrograde to steady ourselves. I hope that's a moment where people at home are listening and they're going, my boy's growing up. But we'll see. What I meant to say is, oh, well, I guess this is growing up. Okay. Well, I mean, this, I feel like we really set ourselves up for a good position. I know we're not touching the maneuver node anymore. And that's fine. That's fine. Delete the maneuver. We did it, more or less. Now, what if we set this as our target? Descending node. We're only off by 1 degree on this Jeb situation. So, I mean, I don't know how many birds we want to get stoned at once here, but let's add a maneuver, burn retrograde at periapsis to decay. And then I believe the way, and I'm kind of getting a little... We should decay until our periapsis is, like, freaking wicked low, dude. Not crashing into the planet, ideally, but, like, low. 2,000? There could be some mountains that are 2,000 high, but the idea is you go until you get over Jeb, and then you burn retrograde to land right on top of him. I think. I wouldn't, and I'm being sincere, I wouldn't get your hopes up too high here. But I think it could happen. Just through sheer luck, and that would be pretty funny. So I think we've already, like, gotten all of our crew reports. High above the moon still, yeah. Castle full of clouds. There sits Wonder Boy, sitting oh so proudly. Not much to say when you're high above the moony moon. So we should have, I mean, no should. We do have 13 seconds of fuel remaining. But we want to be really, really, really precise with this maneuver. Because being 1 degree off on this whole Jeb situation is like a dream come true. So, with 6 seconds remaining, that's when we're going to do our burn. Remember that the moon is rotating simultaneously as well, which is why I'm endeavoring to put us into a shallower orbit, so then we can, I don't want to say eyeball it, but we can burn retrograde when we get over top of Jeb, so that we are going to land directly on top of Jeb, or, you know, like I said, we want to be really precise with the maneuver here. Only missed it by roughly a full minute. And we don't want to crash into the moon. Want to be very clear about that. This seems roughly okay. Sure, delete this maneuver. It's a multi-step process. So we are basically passing over Jeb. Our descending node is still 1. Is this when we start burning retrograde? This is when we, like, cross the plane. So what if we go at our descending node? The problem is, like, I don't know. Did we test our... Oh, we didn't test it at the right altitude. We still could, though. I know we're using too much fuel here, but we'll just click on one of these engines and test it as we move in. Anyway, because our apoapsis is 488. We're at apoapsis, basically. Well, you know what? For now, hear me out. Just go times 50 speed. And we're going to try to catch our... we're going to try to catch our orbit so we can get this Twitch engine test done. I'm just going to call it right now. I know we flipped over 10 times at the start of this episode. This is the best we've ever flown. No jokes. At least once we've made it to space, this is the best we've ever flown. So we're at 390. Get to like 382. Get an engine ready to test, and that should complete this contract. I have no intentions of reverting this flight. If Donka has to die for us to complete this contract, if she dies, she dies. Get the test ready. 2, 1, 0, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Contract completed. Now, I think we should warp like 25 minutes ahead. We don't need to land. I think being 1 degree off is okay. So the next step is we want to land on Jeb. Something along those lines seems like relatively appropriate to me. Can even pull on this a little. Pull on this a little. Gonna burn for 18 seconds. We're not gonna have enough fuel for that. In 3 minutes. Will we have enough fuel to get off the planet if we choose to make this decision? Well, we got 2 minutes, so let's think about it for a second. There's no point in losing one astronaut in order to gain an astronaut eventually. Although, people probably do like Jeb. So what if we keep our temperature and like 1 temperature and 1 pressure? Oh, but it doesn't get anything if you transmit it. That's right. So disregard. I know we still got 1 saved, but that's fine. Let's give it a shot. We're here to save Jeb, possibly. We can definitely complete the planting the flag contract as well. That'll almost allow us to hire another astronaut on our own here. Music's so nice, dude. Okay, so 2 minutes. Don't miss this one. You can keep yourself occupied for 2 freaking minutes, dude. So at 9 seconds, we're going to start this burn. Might even be able to, if we look, we might start to be able to see Jeb soon. 9 seconds, we're going to start this burn. So do me a favor, at 20 seconds, press this button. Two, 1, 0, and then -1. 30 seconds of fuel. I'd prefer not to. But for the odds of this actually coming to fruition, you know you gotta give it a shot. And just while you're doing this, transmit as much as you can. Jeb, my boy. I'm coming home, Jeb. We're gonna be close. That's all I'm saying. And we've transmitted a lot of science in the process here. Still got a pretty good amount of electrical charge. Okay, so we're only 37 meters, 37 kilometers, I should say, above the surface. May want to consider burning retrograde here. It is really gonna decay our orbit. Not our orbit, but our trajectory. So we're gonna move increasingly far away from Jeb. But if we only have to walk for a bit, maybe that's completely okay. I guess you're supposed to start burning retrograde like when you're on top of him. Let's land and then see how this works, because we've already essentially initiated this maneuver. We should have waited until much later to start this, but I'm not going to burn prograde at this part, because we really have to make sure Donka makes it out. That's Jeb. How far away is you, Jeb? Also, whose mans is this? Really trying to wait like as long as possible here. You're slowly killing me. So I'm also thinking that one thing we might want to do is land, plant the flag, do the EVA, collect the science, and then just get back on the ship and try to fly it to Jeb. By the way, this thing is like way more top heavy than it used to be. Thanks to the crew cabin. But even if it ends up getting Donka killed, I'm glad that we took it, because it means that there is a chance to get my boy Jeb back from the moon. He's not that far away right now. Considering the surface of the moon, he's not that far away. We could have done a lot better on the landing, no question about it. By the way, we're landing in like Crag City here. If we can land between the craters, that'd be nice. If we could land at the bottom of a crater, that could be fine. But we mostly just have to focus on the landing. How far away are you? Too far for me to see right now. Alright, so we're almost going straight up, straight down. Once we're going straight up, straight down, we could do some, like, weird burns and just try to, like, horizontally take ourselves over there. Or at this point, we could walk. It might be, like, not that long of a walk. I mean, it looks like a long walk. I definitely started this burn way too early. Now, the positive side of it is that it should be like a much, much cleaner descent as a result. The downside of it is like, well, everything else, right? That's the idea anyway. Either way, dude, smooth moon flight right now. We got some science. I think we've got like at least 40 science. Hey, Airy Shy, thank you for the subscription. You jerk! Mid-video? How dare you interrupt me with your generosity, your charitable nature, financially rewarding me for creating content that you enjoy. Like, do you only think about yourself? It's like the Wayne's World moment with Garth. Yeah, it's like the reason some people do things, it's just all about money these days, man. It's sad. I forget the quote exactly because I haven't seen Wayne's World 2 since I was about 2. Who do you think I am, Michael A.L. Fox? I think we're going to land here-ish, which looks relatively flat. We saved, like, we did not use very much fuel to land, either. We are landing, I'll just level with you, like, far too slow. We're not gonna land there. We're gonna land mid-crater. And I got a cornflake stuck in my throat. How? I ate those cornflakes like 45 minutes ago. Do we risk Donka's life to save Yeb? Of course. I can see his mark on the map. We gotta try to fly over to Jeb. Pick him up en route, do a second landing, use our remaining fuel to escape. Bring him home. Pardon me, it was the cornflakes talking. We're gonna land on actually like a horrible slant here. I think if we play our cards right... Oh, this is like real bad. But I need to save fuel for the Jeb rescue. Just land really, really slowly. No, like, even slower. He has actually done it. We landed on like a 30-degree angle. Okay, crew report. Transmit, dude. How much electricity do we have? More than half. Dude, let's go. Let's go. This is a huge mission. I'm so happy. We don't have a scientist, so we can't use our science module anymore. Kind of a weak play on my part there. So now, Donka, EVA, girl. Go EVA. All hatches are obstructed. No. Because of the freaking ladder? I locked her in? What about this? Transfer crew. No crew on part. Well, let's fly over to Jeb and see if Jeb can enter this. No crew on part. Okay. Well, that's my bad. I guess we need one less ladder. Where's my Jeb? He's right there. This is the wrong direction, dude. Jeb, come to me, buddy. 49 kilometers. I know what you're thinking. How could this possibly go wrong? And I gotta say, I agree with you. Should we not just point, like, directly at the target, more or less? I guess it's on the other side of the rotation here, so we could, like, accidentally... I hope that's still set as our target, by the way. Just fly over to it. 46 meters here. We could probably do this with way less fuel consumption by just, like, continuously going more or less straight up. Like, we're making an orbit that comes down on it, or at least, like, a parabola. So hard to see. 44 kilometers. $43 kilometers. We're traveling pretty fast. Yeah. So I think, like, in space, you're better off just, like, burning until it looks like we're gonna land on it. Sweet, dude. And then, like, warp to your own apoapsis. And don't start burning retrograde yet. We're gonna be so close to being out of fuel for this. But even, again, just to high-five Jeb would be a miracle come true. I'm not gonna walk for 18 kilometers, okay? Jeb can walk. I'm just gonna reorient myself slightly in this direction. Then we're gonna place ourselves retrograde. I'm a little worried about being able to slow ourselves down in time. But dude, we're doing it all for Jeb. That's the whole point of being here. This beautiful baby Jeb boy needs saving. Who am I to say no to Jeb? I gotta be honest with you, Donka. He's still 5.7 kilometers away. But you know what? Target Damun debris. This might be, like, good enough. Just land this bad boy. Next episode... First off, maybe we can transfer some science. But then next episode, maybe we'll be able to walk Jeb over here. I almost landed, like, way too fast. Oh, no. What? What exploded? I don't understand. What did we lose? Our engine? That's a real problem. We've stranded Donka on the moon. Well, you know what? Like, the more the merrier, dude. So, I mean, it's weird because it's like a really good episode, except for the fact that we stranded another person on the moon. Like, she has contributed mad science here, man. I don't want... No, just take me back to the tracking station. So Jebediah is not going to be rescuing her. I mean, there's no question about that. Hey, guys. Leave. Facility, please. Dude, 294 science. Thanks for watching. We dumped another person on the moon, completed some contracts, got a bunch of science. If you enjoyed the episode, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.